We're aboard the Brittany Ferries Glacier to travel from Bilbao to Portsmouth as part of our mega road trip from the UK all the way down to the bottom of Spain and back, because we couldn't be bothered to drive through France. So yeah, we're here on the Glacier. We boarded in Bilbao yesterday, drove our van onto the ferry after our mega road trip. And yeah, we've been settling in and getting used to it. So this is a Hub Notes video. Hub Notes is the sister channel to Hub Nut. So for the main trip and all the driving, head over to Hub Nut right now. But yeah, I thought we'd talk a bit about the ferry. We've got an inside cabin, so we've got a fake view, which is actually a little unsettling. It is somewhat confusing, but you can turn it off in the evening, and it kind of lets you adjust to thinking that it's dark in here. I slept on the top bunk, my friend Tim down here on the bottom, and I had an okay night. It's been a very smooth crossing, very smooth indeed, but we're actually in a 4-berth room, so we could have another 2 people in here. I think that would be cozy in the extreme, but very, very pleasant facilities here. The staff are all very, very pleasant. It's just a bit weird because we're traveling from Spain to England, but it's a French ferry, so there's a right mixture of languages going on. Lovely pastries, as you probably expect, but yeah, the activities leave a little to be desired, but it's worth remembering this is not a cruise, this is just a ferry. So there's people singing with backing music on a laptop. Is about as entertaining as it gets. Last night there was some truly awful karaoke in the main bar area, but thankfully it's quite easy to find a quiet spot. The cabins are well soundproof, so you don't hear people going up and down the corridors, and we're located really conveniently. We are right at the front of the cabins on deck 7, so that's the first layer of cabins, and we're right near the door, so we are a very short walk from reception, which is good because we've managed to break one of our key cards and lose one yesterday, so that was good. And yeah, we're close to facilities. You kind of feel like you're in the heart of the ship, and being in the middle is pretty good because if it does start rocking about, you don't feel it quite so much here in the middle. But yeah, it's a very pleasant ship, but I do find it amusing that there's lots of places where they're going on about their green credentials, and then you go outside and you look at the exhaust stack and you're like, this is not tying up. Having a bloke looking for orcas on the ship is nice, and he's doing a little speech later I may go to, but it hardly offsets the filth coming out of those exhaust stacks. So yeah, I think we need to do better when it comes to marine transport. I believe agreements are being made with shipping to try and move away from the filthiest bunker oil, because it is nasty, nasty stuff. It is awful. So yeah, this is a bit about the ferry. I've got some views of the various parts as we've been walking around. As I'm very new to this, I entirely failed to capture any evidence of last night's dinner. It was a sausage casserole type thing. I had mine with rice, Tim had his with pasta, and it was pretty decent. It was about €19, I think, for dinner and a sweet, and that was very delicious as well. And we just had breakfast. I've just gone for pastries because frankly I think I've eaten enough this past week. I'm brewing a baby, a food baby, so yeah, time to ease off a bit. But yeah, it's been very pleasant. We've still got hours to go. We're barely moving. The crossing obviously takes a lot less time than it's actually sort of scheduled in, so we are at the moment cruising along fairly gently. And it's still a good 5 or 6 hours until we dock in Portsmouth, even though we're now past the Channel Islands. So we're not far at all. But yeah, looking forward to getting back home after what has been a long adventure. So stay tuned, I'll show you a bit more of the ship, and then the drive back to Wales in my Chinese transit van. Well, that's the Isle of Wight behind us, an island to the south of England. Portsmouth in the distance, a huge container truck. The ship over there, Yang Ming down the side. We should be close, but yet somehow we're still the best part of 2 hours away from disembarking. And it stopped being sunny now. It was lovely and sunny out at sea, but we could see a table of cloud over the country. So it looks like it's going to be grey, but still, at least it isn't raining yet. So I've booked in for a premiere in Bristol tonight on the way home. That's a couple of hours driving, and then on to Llanelli to return the van 1 week after we collected it, and then I can go home. I'm very much looking forward to that and seeing Miss Hubnut. The Hublets away for the Easter holidays, so it's just Miss Hubnut and the weird dog. We've got both engines running again. We had a period where they actually shut down one of the engines. We were going so slowly. I think we could have been there hours ago, but I guess if you've got a slot, you've got a slot, so you've got to wait for your slot. But yes, back running under 2 engines again and motoring along. I saw this Hoig Autoliner and got very excited because 4 years ago my Australian Ford was imported on one of these ships, and I thought, is that the Hoig Tracer? Alas, it isn't, but this is the protective glass that does a good job of keeping the wind off you when you're at sea. And here we are, arriving in Portsmouth. It's very, very windy, very grey, very cold, very regret. It was much warmer like a few hours ago, but there's the Spinnaker, a big tower here in Portsmouth. We'll go and see what is in the docks today. Haven't been here since coming back on the mighty Dacia mission 7 years ago. Diggers, variously diggers. Ah. Oh yeah, that is weird. All the fun of the fair on a freezing cold Sunday. Look at that for boat storage. Blimey. I suppose I've got to go somewhere. Showing our lack of knowledge, there is a ship of some sort. And a little green one powering out. Gosport Ferry, there we go. And look, the sun is trying. I can't even see the sun on this. There is a dot there, the sun is trying to come out, it's failing miserably. Lots of historic vehicles. Buildings. Look, it's very cold. And here's the latest aircraft carrier. All sorts of interesting military things here. I'm not sure if you're meant to phone them, but having to hide from the police. I was checking who's filming. And that's it. I've just dropped Tim off at the station here. And here in Portsmouth, we just got off the boat. Had a bit of a mad dash, praying we didn't get stopped at security just because we needed to get to the station. We're not doing anything illegal, just let us go. Thankfully managed to escape, and Tim has been deposited. So now I'm on my own in the LDV. Not the LDV, it's not an LDV, it's a Maxus. It all stems from the fact that LDV is British manufacturer of vans, and the Maxus replaced the old Sherpa based vans that have been in production since the 70s, and with various facelifts along the way, finally gaining transit power in the convoy, one of which I've driven. There's a pilot on the video as well, quite a long time ago, but yeah, when LDV failed, having launched the Maxus and sadly not being massively successful with it, the Chinese bought up the remnants. So the Maxus was built in China and now exists as a brand in its own right. And yeah, I have to say, aside from the fact there's occasionally a bit of NVH issue with the engine, it can sound a bit rough at times, and a bit clattery, but the Peugeot Boxers do that. A lot of modern turbo diesels, common rails, do this horrible clatter noise. This at least has quite an entertaining turbo noise. It's sort of a squelchy sort of a noise going on, so that's good. But yeah, about 2 hours to my overnight accommodation, and then back to Llanelli tomorrow, where I will be reunited with the love of my life. Yes, Desmond and Miss Hubnut. Not necessarily in that order, but yeah, it's nice to be back in the UK, but it is freezing. I've got the heater on, so it's first test of the heater. Very good. Air conditioning has been very good as well. Although weirdly, if you put it on recirculate, it doesn't work very well, the aircon. So you soon notice when it's on recirculate. But yeah, aside from a few little things like the fact the automatic lights are rubbish, the automatic wipers are rubbish, the fundamentals are, it's a decent steer, decent drive. What long-term reliability is like, I can't tell you, but I've done all I can in a week, really. I don't think I could drive an awful lot more miles. Yeah, it's been fine. So the wheel shake, it's obviously a higher van. It's been thrashed every day of its life, I suspect. A little disappointed that Enterprise have given us a van with something that's obviously wrong on it, but you know, these things happen. I'm not going to cry over it too much. Where am I going here? So yeah, final thoughts on the Chinese Transit. I mean, yeah, it's all right. Would I buy one with my own money? That's a bit of a strange question. I don't know what I would buy. If I had to buy a van with my own money, a fairly new one, I don't know what I'd buy, because the Ford Transits have a terrible reputation. So going genuine isn't necessarily a better option. You've obviously got the big Peugeot, Vauxhall, Opel, Toyota, Citroen, Fiat van as it is now. The Peugeot Boxer, you know, it's been around with us since 2007. That one, that's been around a while. You've got the Volkswagen Crafter. I do like a Crafter. I've not driven one of the current generation, but very expensive when things go wrong, and they will go wrong. So yeah, I don't know. If you're after expert van advice, I'm probably not the man. But for the trip we've just done, this has been absolutely ideal. It was so good to have a stereo we could link to with Bluetooth. Eventually, the aircon, the cruise control. It just, on a journey like that, oh, it's when you're doing 300 kilometers with no junction change, yeah, it just comes into its own, really. Whereas in the UK, I am on the cruise at the moment, but you frequently find you're having to slow down. Speed limit change. We've already had 250 sections. I've only got about 5 miles, so and I've just seen another sign saying it's going to be roadworks in 2 miles again. So it's hard to get into that constant cruise mindset. I will say my back is aching like crazy now, and we haven't been in the van for 30 hours, and getting back in, I'm just like, oh, it is quite firm. You can't adjust the lumbar. So yeah, not perfect, but it's been a very good steed. It has served us very, very well. Just flip the camera because we got this rather beautiful beastie. Look at that. It's about a 1986 6-wheeled Airstream. Wow. So that's come all the way from America. Ah, the dawn chorus of a clattering diesel engine. Yes, it is the final day. It is time to take it back. I note the van seems to think it's headlight conditions. No, it isn't. Yeah, let's get on our way. Say goodbye to the van. So we're here in, we're near Bristol, and I've been trying to upload the video of the trip with not very much success. The Wi-Fi at a Premier Inn is absolute rubbish, and they just want to charge you more money to have mildly less rubbish internet. I've fallen for that trick before. The 4G signal is woeful. And oh, this is interesting. It's a non-Chinese transit. I was looking at a transit yesterday and thinking, this really is very, very similar. I'm not sure how Maxus avoided trouble on this one, to be honest. The Chinese do have a reputation of copying Western designs, and I do mean copy. Not inspired by, I mean just outright lift. The Cherry QQ, which was a Daewoo Matiz, but they then weirdly developed a free-wheeled version of. See Aging Wheels, he's actually driven one. And there was a Range Rover Evoque copy that Jaguar Land Rover tried suing about. I don't know how that went. Because I don't wish to hate on the Chinese. I think the Chinese are taking advantage of the fact that people are always chasing cheap. We kind of got ourselves in a weird situation, really. So yeah, we got ourselves in this situation where China is becoming super powerful. And it's hardly surprising. We keep giving them all of our money. And it's all well and good, the likes of some in the world crowing that we should, let's try and get a bit less shine on that, crowing that we should buy local. But you can't just set up a local industry overnight, and people don't want to pay because they've now got used to lower prices. So yeah, it's all a bit of a mess. But that's my succinct summation of globalisation at the moment. Oh, this lorry needs a bit of space. There's no way he can get around that. Whoever designed that road layout was not driving a 40-foot truck. But anyway, I am overjoyed to be seeing Miss Hubnut and probably Desmond very shortly. So yeah, I'm just going to keep driving on. Happy times. Got about an hour left, I think. Just over an hour in the van. And I must say, the wipers are irritating as hell. Yesterday we had a lot of rain, and the automatic wipers still don't work, so you can't use that setting. And when you go from off, where I am currently, to on, oh, it's not doing it now. Weird. It usually beeps. Today it's not doing the beep. Oh, there we go. And then back off again. So imagine every time you're going through that position, it's beeping. It drives you absolutely up the wall. So for that reason alone, I would say do not buy one of these vans unless there is a way to disable that absolutely annoying beep. And it's the same with the automatic headlights. That beeps. Just have it on the display. Don't have it beeping irritatingly every time. Because the automatic headlights are rubbish as well. He just puts them on. I don't think that's what's meant by automatic headlights. So yeah, there are definitely flaws. But fundamentally, it does feel really solid and well put together. But a bit of issue with crosswinds, noise around the door seals. But yeah, it feels a lot more solid than the original LDV Maxus, where you could dent the panels with your thumb if you weren't careful. And the gear change is horrible, but it's still better than the original LDV Maxus. It just clunks. It's not a pleasant gear change. And thankfully for most of our driving, we've been in 6th gear. We haven't had to change gear very much. But it is actually really nice to drive in traffic. It's got a strong anti-stall feature, so it'll keep even in 2nd gear on tick over. It'll just mosey along quite merrily. But it does sound pretty horrible as an engine, especially when you're driving around at slow speeds, which again, thankfully, we've not done very much of. But yeah, overall, pretty pleased with the Enterprise service. The van was a bit dirty when we got it, and it wasn't entirely full of AdBlue, but they did give us a bottle. What they didn't give us was a funnel. So we're on 16% AdBlue. I'm afraid that's going to become an M problem. We've had to top the screen wash up, but we've got through a lot of screen wash battling flies. So yeah, overall, I think I'm pretty happy with their service. I'm not very happy that the steering's got this wheel wobble, but thankfully we've not often been driving at a speed where that's an issue. But yeah, could be better, but not terrible. Yeah, we'll go and get it back and jump back into Desmond. I cannot wait. Desmond is going to feel so tiny after this. Oh, I see a strange little roof. Desmond! It's for Desmond. Oh, good old Deza. Right, time to load you up with wine, Desmond. We're back. Yee! So it's a goodbye Chinese transit. It has served us very well. It did do it all the way to the bottom of Spain and back.
Fantastic.
And yeah, now the short drive is about an hour and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, and actually
you hit traffic, I think.
Yes, I did, and
yes.
It's the same traffic that I hit just before Cross Hands. About 2 miles out of Cross Hands, there are roadworks, although there don't seem to be any roadworks going on.
Amazing.
And then when you get over Cross Hands, it's down to 1 lane.
Great. Okay.
But
well,
that's
coming this way, so we'll be fine going home.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah, right. We might go and get a drink and head home.
Yes.
Okay, then let's really dig into the costs of the trip. First one is fuel. We're filled up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. in the Maxus Deliver 9, and that cost us a total of £466.82. I had the trick of trying to return it with just under half a tank of fuel, and I did achieve that, so that was good. So I don't think for that sort of distance, in the end we were 2,200 miles, I think, from when we picked up the van to when we dropped it back. 466 quid. Doesn't seem too bad. Fuel in France, quite expensive, but we were filling up on auto routes. It just didn't make sense to try and track down cheaper fuel along the way, really. You need the hit there and then. You don't want to spend time going off-piste trying to find some. So that's what we did. And in Spain, it's very slightly more expensive than at home. Here in the UK, fuel is currently quite cheap by UK standards. Diesel typically around £1.33, maybe £1.37 a litre, compared to €1.50 in Spain. So it's really not that dissimilar. Tolls, we spent £157.52 on tolls. The most expensive ones were in France. There was one section we paid £69.54. Yeah, that was over €70. That was expensive and a bit unexpected. Very expensive to drive that route. It's such a commonly used route, I think. But I think they charge a bit extra. And yeah, there was one of £69.54, one of £46.89. But then the rest, including some tolls in the UK, in Spain, were mostly a few quid, a couple of quid here and there. The van itself, the base price was £210, and initially I'd booked a Vivaro at £209, and upgraded to the Deliver 9. I didn't know it was going to be a Deliver 9. That was a surprise on the morning. We had no idea what it was going to be. But that was £1 more expensive than a Vivaro. Though that would cash us out later on, because as we moved to the cost of the tunnel was £329. They're currently running a 20% discount. So I used that, and that discounted it down to 329 quid for the return. But when we got to Folkestone, the UK side, because I'd initially done my costings based on a Vivaro and turned up with a larger van, they charged me £79. I just forgot. It was a very last minute change, and it wasn't very nice to get punished. 79 quid. And then we end up in a carriage where really the van we were in took up just the same sort of space as if we'd been in a Vivaro. It didn't make any difference on height. We were already in a high carriage. And the length didn't really come into it very much either, so I was annoyed. I thought that was a bit much, but what can you do? There's not a person there. It's just a machine saying you pay 79 quid now, or goodbye crossing. So that was irritating. Lots of people saying, why didn't you do New Haven Dieppe? And the problem there was, I think it boarded at something like 10:30 at night, but then arrived at like 5 o'clock in the morning French time. So you wouldn't be in your cabin for very long. It'd be like 4 hours. And I like to get more sleep than that if I know I'm going to be driving lots. So that's why we went down to Portslade, picked the stuff up, came back up to the M25, and then the usual route down to Folkestone. And the other advantage was many more crossings. So if we'd missed that New Haven Dieppe, that was it. We were done. But whereas the ticket I booked for the tunnel gave flexibility either side, and we ended up going half an hour earlier than our actual ticket. So that was nice. But otherwise, the tunnel, I found it, very expensive, and the toilets are grim. I think they're hoping that mostly don't use them, and to be fair, I never have on any previous crossings. But it is quick, really quick. I mean, from arriving at the terminal at Folkestone and paying my extra £79 to driving off the other side, less than an hour. You can't say fairer than that. I mean, we didn't even queue. It was just straight through, down to the train, onto the train departs. Amazing. But you don't get the sense of drama of going on a ferry where you get to wave goodbye to the White Cliffs of Dover or whatever. So there is that. What other expenses are there? Oh, on the van hire. There were extra costs. That was the base rate. In order to take the van across to Europe, you have to pay £300 extra. and that gets you some paperwork that says you own the van, and it gives you a benefited breakdown cover. I think it's really expensive for the extra bit you're getting. My guess is they're really trying to discourage you from doing that. So bearing in mind we had all the other costs of the trip, the 300 quid wasn't too significant a figure in the overall costings. But if you just wanted to pop some stuff over to Normandy, for example, it's a very expensive way of doing it. And a lot of companies just outright won't let you take your van overseas. So, and that doesn't include the kit of your breakdown triangle, high-vis jacket, all the stuff you're meant to carry. The beam benders, we never actually managed to acquire. That was on us. And the UK badge we had to find over there. All that stuff is extra that you have to find yourself. So do bear that in mind if you're hiring a van. But yeah, overall, the enterprise experience was pretty good. Oh, there was more. You could pay, obviously, much more for the collision damage waiver, but that worked out about an extra 250 quid over the cost of the trip to bring your excess down to £2,000 excess, unless you pay the collision damage waiver. And yeah, that's worth thinking about. Plus, we actually paid 15 quid a day to have Tim as a second driver. That was a total of 120. So, yeah, there's various costs, and the total, and I haven't included all the extra costs actually when I totaled that up. But the total of van hire, tunnel, tolls, and fuel was £1,163, and then the extra charges on top of that, so a little bit more. So it was quite an expensive trip, and that doesn't include the £583.50 we paid to come back on the ferry. We decided between us that it was just a lot easier to come back that way, and we certainly appreciated the break from driving. There was a lot of miles in that van, and after that many miles, it was getting uncomfortable. But I mean, it was fairly quiet, and it sort of whizzed away merrily enough. But yeah, we definitely had some aches, so it was good to get on the ferry and have a proper break from driving. That worked really well. And if I ever drive to my in-laws to be again, I will be using the Spanish crossing, I think. I mean, it helped we did it slightly out of season just before Easter. I imagine in the holidays that crossing is going to be a lot more expensive, but then so is everything. So yeah, there we go. That's a rough idea of the costings of the trip. I mean, including absolutely everything, we're probably talking £2,000. And would it be cheaper to use a courier? In all honesty, I have absolutely no idea. None. We ended up taking extra stuff because we had the capacity in the van. So with a courier, you'd be more inclined to really pare things down to the absolute minimum. And yeah, I have no idea how much it costs to ship stuff over there. But if we ever decide to move to Spain or France ourselves, I think we will look into that rather than hiring a van. It's a very expensive way of doing, but it is a more personal way of doing it. And we had an absolutely lovely time. So hopefully that was interesting. That's our hub notes, a bit more information about the trip. If there's anything else you think I've missed, just ask down in the comments and we'll do our best to answer. But I'll just showing this off. That's a bit of Boeing 757 that I bought for Miss Hubnut for her birthday. It's the bit that goes above the seats saying no smoking and fasten seatbelt. Airliners Live got a batch of them, converted them to run on USB, and I bought one for Miss Hubnut for her birthday because she loved that plane, GLSAI. It's a bit of a Fred drift, but yeah, that was the oldest Boeing 757 still in service in the UK, with a UK airline, Jet 2. And we watched the last flight of it and everything, so we got a bit of it as something a bit special. Don't know why. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the future hub notes. Bye.